And welcome to the David Thompson Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. It's Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. I'm glad you can join me today. I'm going to be talking about Donald Trump and his mission to pretty much wreck the United States. I believe it's his mission. He may not think it is, but he has done so. And I have 5 things he's done that has helped that along. 5 things he's done that placed more nails in the coffin of the American empire. And yes, again, America is an empire. I've talked about this on numerous videos. Every empire eventually wanes and falls. Ours was heading toward that for many years now. But Donald Trump is expediting our journey to the end. No, we're not going to not exist. I don't believe there's going to be a nuclear war blowing us up or an invasion. What is happening because of bad decisions we've made here in America. Not just Donald Trump, but many other leaders over time. Now, Donald Trump is a very dangerous person, but he's not the real problem. I say every particular video here, he's a symptom of a deeper problem, a symptom of American arrogance, greed. And I've talked about that quite often, but I'm not going there because that's a pretty deep rabbit hole. So I'm going to go to number 1. There's 5 things I think Donald Trump has done that is expediting America's fall. These aren't in any particular order, and there's more than 5. Believe me, I just chose 5 off the top of my head, and I'm sure there might have been a few that were better than these, but I'm going to stick with it. Okay? Number 1, Donald Trump has divided the American nation like no other president ever before. Now, this is the plan, I believe. He always had this plan. It's how it works. You divide a nation and you pit us versus them. And by doing this, he created a coalition, a right-wing military group, so to speak, that would fight for him, sort of like Hitler's brown shirts. And we see that Donald Trump has used this division to create a coalition that got him elected. Not by much. He didn't need much, 49 point some percent. He didn't really need much, but he got it. And he went in with a few things in mind. First of all, he wanted to go after everyone who did not support him, who he believes wronged him, all those people that stole the election from him. So he had a plan going in. And of course, his plan was to first go after his political rivals. Who were they? Oh, Barack Obama. So he really couldn't touch Barack Obama, but he went after those people that Barack Obama had put into certain positions, and he fired them all. He went after Kamala Harris. He went after Joe Biden, still uses them as the reason everything is falling apart and he has to fix it. And the cats and dogs are being eaten by these people from Haiti, and it's going to hell. He made a pretty good play of that. None of that's true. But sadly, those people that he created, that coalition, more than happily believed everything he said. It didn't have to be true or be documented because, you see, any facts are fake news. That's why we can, say something that's true and have proof of it, but those people will refuse to believe it. There's always something bigger at play. Something great's coming down the pike. No. What's coming down the pike is misery for most of the people in America. Those that aren't billionaires, for sure. So he went after these people. And of course, he went after a law firm. We talked about that the other day. Perkins and Coie. He went after them and was going to have every federal agency try to go after them in any way they could. And of course, this went to court, and the federal court threw that out and said, listen, that's unconstitutional. Stop. Again, it didn't matter. Donald Trump was going to get his pound of flesh. He didn't this time, but he will continue to try. So after taking office on, January 20th? Was that when the inauguration was? I didn't check. He took an oath to defend the Constitution. A few hours later, he signed an executive order contradicting the Constitution on the 14th Amendment. What's the 14th Amendment? It grants citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. Now, we've talked about this in the past, but once again, he challenged the Constitution after saying he'd defend it. Why? Well, of course, we know he was going after immigrants. Now, why would this matter to immigrants? He says about 10 million of them are illegal. Well, see, that's not who he's after. He's after everyone who's an immigrant, everyone who's brown, whether you're from India, whether you're from Pakistan, whether you're from China, whether you're from somewhere in South America. He wants you gone because you're brown. He also wants to be able to go after, guess what? White people. Not his white people, but white people who disagree with him. For instance, you disagree with Donald Trump. You stated it on a video channel like this and say he doesn't like it. He finds out. How do you get rid of that person? Well, you say they're a terrorist. You revoke their citizenship and you deport them somewhere. Oh, to El Salvador in those illegal prisons. Meant for terrorists, but he's now sending anybody there because he doesn't care. He's probably getting a kickback from the folks in El Salvador because the United States is paying for those prisons. They're giving them money, guarantee you. So where do we go from here? Well, if you're not brown and you're not black and you're not foreign, maybe you're safe for a while. But when you eliminate the 14th Amendment, no one's safe. Henceforth, why that amendment was placed in by our founding fathers. Duh. So really, attacking the Constitution is number two. That's how you control your country. You have to get rid of those things that prevent you from taking full control. And those lines in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights, prevent him to a degree from taking full control. So he's going after them one way or the other, or just ignoring them. Because again, when you want to be a dictator, and let's be honest, he said so, I believe that's what he intended to be. There's no doubt, because you can't do what he wants to do with a three-branch system as we have. You can't do it because it has to go through different parties to get approval. You know, by taking all those jobs and firing people and taking funding from federal agencies is illegal. Congress gave those agencies that money, not the president, but he did it anyway, and Congress allowed him. He sent Elon Musk, who has as much common sense as a toad, to go in and decide who gets fired and who doesn't. This is an attack on our freedoms and how the system's supposed to work. Why do you think he's eliminating so many jobs in the federal bureaucracy? Because only Donald Trump can choose who works there. And right now he doesn't, but he wants that. What else did he do? Well, he went after the Constitution, the Fifth Amendment. He's going after free speech. He's going after anything and anyone who has stood against him, strengthening his grip on power. And he tells his right-wing people that he's the only one that can fix it all, and this is the only way it can be done, ruthlessly, without care or empathy for anybody. That was number two. I didn't tell you that. Three, globally. So let's go globally. I talk to people all the time, and people have a small understanding of our global connection. We think we know, or they think they know. They don't. They missed those classes at school, and maybe they should go back and take a few classes, okay, and understand how modern-day globalization really works, but they don't. Donald Trump told them all a lie. They're ripping us off. No one was ripping anybody off here. In fact, what Donald Trump tried to do was destroy the rules-based order. What's the rules-based order? Well, again, I've talked about this a lot. Please go back and watch my videos if you haven't seen them all, if you're new. I talk a lot about this in better and with a better description and more detail. But let me shorthand it here. Okay, the rules-based order was set up after World War II. The world was at war. The war was over. Most of Europe, everything was a wreck. There was war everywhere. It was a world war. The United States was still intact, financially and physically. And they were the ones, we were the ones that could take reins and help prevent a third world war. That was the idea. Looking forward, they did look forward and say, well, how do we prevent this? Let's make sure that everybody in this world gets some kind of a chance to succeed and grow. The IMF, the World Bank, the United Nations, go down the list, the World Health Organization, all these things were kind of sponsored by the United States, were backed, because that was our way, using soft power, some money, but to help other countries and level out the playing field a bit. Of course, it never really was totally leveled out, but it kept the world from going to war. So those institutions were based in rules-based order. There were rules. Donald Trump doesn't want rules unless they favor him completely. Well, it's supposed to be us, but me and you are just along for the ride. We're being dragged. It's about Donald Trump. He wants to rule the world. He said so. We know this. I've talked about this. He said, I rule the United States, I rule America, and I rule the world. Well, no, you don't. Stop saying that. You're wrong. But again, his followers, on the right over there, his followers think it's okay because we need him. See, they believe they need this strong man. And we always refer to a strong man in political terms as somebody who takes power and does what he wants to do, uses strength and power, whatever it takes, to take control and push the country in the direction he wants to push it. Here in America, we don't need a strong man. We have three forms of government, three branches of government, should I say. The president does have a lot of power, but he's not the ruler of America. We fought the British to get rid of a ruler. We fought them. Blood was shed. Oh, maybe he missed that day in class, and I'm guaranteeing you he did. And a lot of his followers missed that day in class too. They missed that. Because we wouldn't be here today with this if they understood that, right? You'd think. It's logical, but why use logic here? Because it's emotion. It's anger. It's hatred. It's a lot of things with Donald Trump and with his followers. So we had this rules-based order, and he wants to destroy that. And he pretty much did. Well, he did in our terms. We're now the outcast of the world. All you have to do is go and look at public opinion around the world, which I have, and we're not up there. Who asked Canadians? Wow, how did that happen? But he tried to burn it down, and it didn't work. People actually were drawn closer together. For instance, these tariffs. He put tariffs on everybody. It was foolish. It was stupid. Again, there's people on the right that missed those classes on tariffs and how they work. They listen to Donald Trump too often saying that it's a tax on China, for instance, and that the Chinese are paying that tax because they ripped us off. And of course, I've said on and on here, and I have used the writings of other people who are experts in the field that have contradicted this whole claim of Donald Trump that China's paying these tariffs. They're not. And I will say it again. We pay the tariffs. Everybody else in the world knows that except Donald Trump and the people who support him. I don't get it. And some people get mad about that because America got a comment, just pay the tariff and shut up. That's because they can't defend their position. None of these people can. Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, went out again yesterday or the day before saying, China pays the tariffs because they're ripping us off. She's an embarrassment. I said this the other day. She should resign and apologize to the American people as she does it for lying to them. This is a lie. She can't be that stupid. Well, I'm hoping she's not that stupid to actually believe this, because all you have to do is take a basic economics class, which if she went to college, and I'm sure she did, she's a rich white girl, she probably took an economics class and they probably explained tariffs. I know I've taken quite a few and I understood tariffs. And today when experts in tariffs tell you that you're wrong and you still say the Chinese are paying the tariffs, you're lying. That's a lie. You're lying, Caroline. You're lying. Why are you lying to the American people? Can anybody tell me why she's lying to the American people? She wears a cross. She must be holy or something. Why is she lying? Oh, okay. I don't know. So we know that this has drawn a lot of comments from the right that Donald Trump is doing the right thing. But what he did was he drove a lot of our allies away from us, Canada, Mexico, Canada being the biggest. He has helped reunite some Asian countries in trade negotiations, South Korea, Japan, and China. They are going to negotiate better trade deals and trade with each other more. Japan is very upset with us and refuses to sign any deals, but there were no deals actually signed yet. Even the one with Britain is not technically a deal. Read the fine print. I did. It's not. But again, Donald Trump's saying millions of people are signing on to this because I'm great. Well, no. But Japan's very upset because he wants to tariff them 25% on their automobiles. Automobiles are the lifeblood of the Japanese economy. Now, Japan right now is in a downturn. They're struggling. So there is a lot of pressure from other factions within the Japanese government that do not want a deal made with Donald Trump. It will hurt their country. This could get ugly for Japan because elections are coming up. So guess what? There will be no deal. There will be no deal with Japan, a big ally of ours. Holds $1.1 trillion of our treasuries. Again, Donald Trump and his idiots are making big mistakes with our allies, trying to force them, strong-arm them into being our servants. Let's go on to number 4, the attack on free speech by Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump doesn't like free speech because, again, that means you can hear opposition. He doesn't want to hear opposition. He doesn't want opposition. He will attack opposition. He will attack and force them to bow down to him as king and leader and dictator because he knows best. He's the only one that can save America. Now, the 4th problem I see with Donald Trump is he's attacked free speech. That's right, he has. Now, if you remember, he didn't like protests. He wanted to use the military to quell them, to arrest them. He doesn't like anybody that opposes him. And when they do, he uses his attorney general or some part of the federal government to go after them. We've talked about that. But he has also now given authority to, through an executive order, to the Department of Defense, that's Pete Hegseth, and the Homeland Security Office, that's Kristi Noem, to use military assets in America, on American soil. Now, right now, that's assets. Could be tanks, could be armored vehicles, drones. But he also told them they could use the military, if needed, to quell protests or problems. This, of course, goes against the 1878 Posse Comitatus Act, which forbid the United States to use military for law enforcement. Why? They're not designed for it. But Donald Trump thinks better, knows better. He wants to take full control. Using the military will sure do it. When you see a tank rolling down the street, you pause a little bit, don't you? It's not like seeing the police car pull up in front of your house and 2 officers coming out to ask you what's going on. It's guys in Humvees coming out with M16s and surrounding your house. Big difference, don't you think? Now, on occasions, we've heard this. He does this with illegal immigrants or with immigrants of any kind. He has ICE go and surround them and throw them in the back of a van, and within minutes, they're whisked off to some camp. Then they're whisked off to some camp outside of the United States. Do you really believe this is the way to go? This is the path? People not getting due process under the Constitution, people being basically shanghaied and sent to El Salvador without a hearing. This is what you want? Many people believe that's the case. Now, Donald Trump said, we're going to have too many trials. It'll cost us too much money. It'll take too much time. Well, yeah, that's the idea. You want to make the right decision. You don't want to just mass deport people, many of whom would probably be innocent of any crimes you've blamed them for. But we don't care because he just wants to get rid of all of them, not just criminals. No, all of them, including people who are here legally. And that could eventually be you, as I mentioned before. So let's go to number 5. Now, number 5 is Donald Trump divided America spiritually. To me, this is the most important of all the ones I've talked about today. Now, I know I said one shouldn't be more important than any other, but to me, this is most important. As you know, Donald Trump, on many occasions, told his supporters in rants on Truth Social especially, that he was going to seek retribution and called his political opponents the enemies within. This is scary. This is pre-World War II talk. The enemies within. We have enemies. What do you do with an enemy? You see where I'm going with this. His supporters don't think that's a problem because, again, they're on board. They're on board with whatever it takes to quell these enemies, to get rid of these enemies, and let's be honest, to destroy these enemies. Of course, he has other enemies more than just his political enemies. He has enemies that are immigrants, Democrats, LGBTQ+, woke people, liberals of any persuasion, colleges and universities. And I broke it down like that because they're all somewhat the same, but they're all different. Depends on how you look at it. But these people, these groups are all enemies. And they're enemies of those people that support him. Why? Well, that's between them and God. I can only say that retribution is never a good idea. However, many Trump supporters believe in it. They want retribution. They want the strong man. As I said, why a strong man? Because the strong man represents what they don't have. Someone that can do things and they don't have to worry about it anymore. They can just let him go and do whatever it takes to fix the things that they want fixed. Get rid of LGBTQ+ people. Get rid of immigrants. Destroy the Democrats and all the woke people and liberals. Teach them a lesson. And those that won't submit, we get rid of them too. Okay, good luck with that. Of course, this isn't new either. Retribution isn't new. Hitler did it. Many leaders have done it over time. So the problem here is that many supporters of Donald Trump are people of faith, people that believe in God, believe in Jesus. But there seems to be something off here. Donald Trump really has no relationship to Jesus. In the words that Jesus spoke, Donald Trump does not believe or obey. He does not follow them, which means his followers aren't either. How did that happen? So how do the policies of Donald Trump conflict with Jesus? Well, in many ways. For instance, Jesus told us to turn the other cheek. If someone hits you on one cheek, give them the other cheek. Donald Trump believes in retribution. I'm going to attack you because you disagreed with me. Seems night and day there, don't you think? Jesus said to forgive someone as God has forgiven you. But again, Donald Trump doesn't want to forgive anybody, and neither do the people who follow him. They believe in retribution. It's time for the strong man to get rid of these people, to take action against them. Jesus frequently spoke about the poor and the needy, emphasizing the importance and the need to have compassion and take action. He condemned those who neglected these people. Which you do to the least of these, you did unto me, Jesus' words. So if that's the case, Donald Trump's supporters should have health care taken off them, to have their jobs taken off of them, should be deported, should be treated like dirt, because that's what we're doing to the least of these. Jesus taught that we should love our neighbors, including immigrants and foreigners, as we love ourselves. So the question I have for you all is, would Jesus condemn someone for supporting a leader who recklessly, viciously, and illegally deported people to torture camps in El Salvador? Would Jesus support a person who breaks the law of the land to hurt the helpless, the immigrants, the poor, and those living on the fringe of society? Would Jesus support Republicans as they strip away health care and the safety nets millions of people count on for survival, to make room for massive tax cuts for the rich, for the billionaire class? Would Jesus support the insurrection of January 6th, when Donald Trump's henchmen attacked the Capitol building? Now, I can go on and on here, but the fact is that the words of Jesus are clear. They're highlighted in red in your Bible. Jesus wouldn't support any of those things. In fact, Peter, when he found out, now Peter was the rock, right? He found out that Jesus was going to die on the cross, and Peter tried to prevent him from doing it. He said, no, Lord. We're not going to have it. You're going to overthrow Rome. We're going to take back our country. Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan. Why? Because this world is not our world. There's a whole new kingdom waiting for us as Christians. This world was not intended to be dominated by Christians, the seven hills, and taking over every aspect of the society, not at the expense of all the things that one has to do to get there. Threats, breaking the law, deporting people, breaking families up, taking health care away from the poor. None of this is something Jesus intended to happen. He wanted us to be a part of our communities, to love those people, to help those people, to reach out and support those people. But we've changed that. Donald Trump has just taken advantage of it. This is something that he didn't create. It's something that's been here for decades. It's something that started back 50 years ago, 60 years ago. Racism, a hatred for those people that are different. Those that have power want to cling on to that power, and they can't allow immigrants, and LGBTQ plus, woke people, or whatever other category you can come up with, to have a say in anything. Make America white again. I don't say that as a joke. I say that because in a big way, it is the Gilded Age again, where the rich white robber barons controlled everything. Women had no rights. Of course, minorities had no rights. And similarly, people today believe those same things. You may not always hear about it on the news, but believe me, many of these right-wing people believe those things still today. That's why it's up to us to fight against it, to stand for something. Because if you don't stand for something right, you'll fall for anything. And many times those things are the wrong things to fall for. I don't know where we're at on the timeline. I don't know how far we are from complete fascism, or that it will even happen here in America. But one thing's for sure, America is collapsing as an empire. Our reign is over. The playing field has leveled out. And no matter what Donald Trump tries to do and what tactics he tries to use, it will only divide America more, and it will divide our world more. We need to make a difference. Join our fight against tyranny. The David Thompson Show supports all of you who believe in freedom, free speech. We want to support you as you support us. Please like, subscribe, and share our videos. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. That'll notify you when we have a new video. And don't forget, if you want to send me a comment, please do, but do so politely. We want to hear your opinions, whatever they are, but do so in a manner of respect for others. Again, don't forget, we have another channel, Nights Around the Fire. I just completed a new video last night with Sue Taylor, one of my researchers. We're going to edit that today. You'll see that coming up. It's about myths, legends, and mysteries. A particular show last night was about Bigfoot. If you enjoy mysteries and you enjoy that type of stuff, I'm sure you'll enjoy Nights Around the Fire. I'll put a link in the description box for you to find it. Thank you. God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow right here on your favorite news, analysis, and commentary network, The David Thompson Show. Good night.